Hey guys, welcome back to another military review, and today we're going to be reviewing Belgian Jigsaw. Now this one, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for the past few years now, ever since 2022 or 2023, I have been looking very hard for Belgian Jigsaw, and I had some issues along the way. First, it was pricing. Whenever I came across one, it would always be $200 or $400, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to spend that much on it. But the main issue, and that being the second issue, was that for the most part, it was unavailable. Anytime I tried to look for it, it would always say, oh, sold out, unavailable, and all this other stuff. So I just said, whatever, it's not worth it. But luckily, one day, when I was on eBay, I managed to find a Belgian Jigsaw shirt and a pair of pants that were in my size. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I was thanking the good Lord that this happened, because I was just so excited to get my hands on this, and it is just I don't even know how to explain myself right now. But with all that out of the way, why don't we talk about the history of Belgian Jigsaw? Belgian Jigsaw was first introduced by the Belgian Armed Forces in 1956. The pattern was based on Denison smocks worn by the British in World War II. The first unit to use the pattern was the Paracommando Brigade, but eventually the pattern would spread throughout all branches of the Belgian military. The first time it saw use in a war was in 1960 from 1965 during the Congo crisis. They were also worn during the Shaba invasions and would eventually be adopted by Zaire. Some Belgian soldiers complained that the camouflage was too bright and didn't blend into any environment. In the 1970s, Belgium made changes to Jigsaw, making the colors more darker to be more effective, and made more changes in 1999. Belgian Jigsaw continued to be used until 2022, when Belgium announced they were phasing it out in favor of multicam. Although the pattern is slowly being phased out, it is still popular amongst reenactors and military collectors. Now, with the history out of the way, how about we try it on? And here's what it looks like. Now, wearing this camouflage pattern, it is very, very cool to wear, especially after looking for it for so long. But let's go over the details of this camouflage, and as well as the details of this shirt. So, as you can see right here, the colors of this are just a bunch of greens, as well as yellows, blacks, and reds. So let's also go over the details, as I've said before. Right here you get a name tag that just says Belgium, which I do think is pretty cool to have. In my years of reviewing field shirts, I've never really had a name tag on here like this. You do get a lot of buttons, so unlike other field shirts where it's a combination of, say, a zipper and some buttons, this is all buttons all the way, so no zippers on here. You might be asking me, is rolling up your sleeves an issue? Well, no, not entirely. And the shirt does look, if you're wondering why it looks a little bit weird, it's just because it's a bigger size for me since I'm a big guy. So let's roll up the sleeves and do a little sleeve test, as I like to call it. Let's get the other one. Alright, and as you can see, rolling up your sleeves is not a problem. So, that's with the details of the shirt out of the way, let's talk about the pants. So this is what the pants look like, and they're pretty standard pants. You get your pockets right here on the sides, but you also get some more pockets right here. Just have to unbuckle that for 1 second, please. Right here, and also one right here. And just like the pockets up here, they also have buttons. So if you want to put something here and you want to make sure it's secure, all you have to do is button it like this. And this. Oh, and I also forgot to mention they have 2 buttons on here, so if you really want to make sure it's secure, you can also do the second row of buttons. So we're going to do that right here. Sorry, some technical difficulties. All right, no issues there. Sorry for the delay. And voila, it's secure. So the pants do feel comfortable, nothing too bad, and you can't see them since they're off camera, but they do have the little strings at the bottom, so in case you want to make, so if you're wearing sneakers and you want to make sure these don't drag, or you're wearing any type of shoes, I would definitely say these are definitely the best pants you want to wear in that scenario. All right, so let's go on to the final details as well as my final thoughts. The other details about this shirt is that you also get the pockets on here on your shirt. So if you have, say, your phone or your keys or whatever, and you want to make sure they are secure, you can just put them in there, and like that, just like that, it's secure. So I also wanted to talk about my final thoughts on this camouflage pattern, because if you don't know a lot about Belgian Jigsaw, this camouflage pattern is not really liked. And there is some controversy with some people hating it. What are my personal opinions? Personally, I don't think it's a bad camouflage pattern. Now, yes, this is not a camouflage pattern you would want to wear in the winter or the summer. But does that mean it's entirely ineffective? Absolutely not. If it's the fall, this is, I would say, the best camouflage pattern to wear, as the colors of it, such as the reds and the yellows, I would say do blend into a fall environment. Similarly with, I would say, German Flecktarn. But yeah, I would have to say that this is possibly one of my, I would say it's a decent camouflage pattern. I don't consider it one of the best, like, say, U.S. Woodland or, say, U.S. Tiger Stripe or anything like that. But do I consider this an entirely bad camouflage pattern? Absolutely not, considering there are worse patterns out there. So, would I recommend this pattern? Well, I would have to say yes and no. Like I said, I would not recommend this in a summer or a winter environment. But if you're wearing this for the fall season, you know what? I'd say go for it. It's a pretty good camouflage pattern for that. And since it is October and we're going into the fall season, I would have to say, if you want to look stylish, make sure you pick up some Belgian Jigsaw. So, tune in next time when I review another camouflage pattern from Europe. But this time, it's going to be a bit different. I won't say what it is, but I will tell you that it's a country that does border Belgium. Now, with that all out of the way, I would just like to say I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you click the like button down below, and follow me on all my social media accounts linked in the description. And yeah, that's about it. Bye.